words taste like ash on my tongue tonight. I repeat them silently, over and over, like a prayer that has lost its meaning. Once, when I first spoke them, there was a kind of fragile certainty in my heart. I believed I was doing the right thing. I believed that taking control, making the choices for us both, would protect you from the cruel hands of fate. But now I am left wondering if I saved you, or if I simply caged you in a different kind of prison and made of my love, my fears, and my desperate need to keep you by my side. Why, baby, I decided it for you because you couldn't bear to decide. You were so young then, so fragile, your eyes filled with dreams that the world would have crushed. I told myself I was strong enough to carry the burden for both of us. And maybe I was. But what no one told me is that strength can become a chain, and the same hands that lift you up can also hold you down. When I look at you now, I see a shadow in your gaze that wasn't there before. You smile for me, but it never quite reaches your eyes. You laugh when I hold you, but there's a tremor in your voice that only I seem to notice. And at night, when you think I'm asleep, you cry softly into the pillow so that I won't hear. But I do hear. I always hear. I want to tell you that everything I've done has been for love. That every drop of blood I've spilled, every harsh word I've spoken, every wall I've built around you, it was all to keep you safe. But love is a strange, cruel thing. It can shield, but it can also suffocate. And I fear that one day, when you look back, you will not see the man who protected you, only the man who took away your choices. There are nights when I sit by your bedside, watching you sleep, and the weight of my decisions crushes me. You look so peaceful then, so untouched by the storms raging outside these walls. I brush a strand of hair from your face and whisper, "My baby, I decided it for you." But the words are no longer a vow, they are an apology. I tell myself that the world would have been crueler. That if I had stepped in, someone else would have taken you and broken you in ways far worse than I ever could. And maybe that's true. But sometimes, late in the dark hours of the night, I wonder if the cruelest thing of all was believing I knew what was best for you. The truth is, I am terrified. Terrified of losing you, of watching you walk away, and realizing that my love wasn't enough to make you stay. So I hold on tighter. I make the decisions before you can, because if I let you choose for yourself, you might choose a life without me in it. And that thought is more unbearable than any war, any crown, any burden I have ever carried. Why, baby, I decided it for you because I didn't know how to let you go. The decision that started it all was made on a night so quiet it felt like the whole world was holding its breath. The storm outside had just begun, rain lashing against the windows, like frantic hands begging to be let in. You had been pacing, your slender frame trembling with rage and grief, your voice breaking as you tried to tell me what you wanted, what you thought was best for your life. But you didn't understand, my love. You couldn't see the danger the way I did. You couldn't hear the whispers in the court, the plotting behind closed doors, the sharpened blades meant for you. You thought you were strong enough to face them alone. You thought you could walk away from me, from this life, from the palace, and somehow be free. And so I made the choice for you. That night, while you slept with tears still drying on your cheeks, I signed the orders. I called in my most loyal men. By dawn, the gates were sealed, the roads patrolled, and every soul who dared to speak your name with defiance on their tongue had vanished into the shadows. You never saw the lengths I went to, never saw the blood I spilled in silence. All you knew was that when you woke, you were no longer allowed to leave. At first, you didn't understand. You tried to reason with me, your voice soft, your hands clutching mine. You asked why the guards now followed your every step, why the palace doors no longer opened when you approached. I told you it was for your safety, that there were threats I could name, enemies who would harm you if they had the chance. You believed me then. for a little while. But as the weeks passed, doubt began to creep into your eyes. You noticed how the letters you sent to your family never received replies. You realized the garden gates had been locked, that even the trusted maid who brushed your hair each morning was no longer the same girl you'd grown up with. And you began to ask questions. The first time you accused me, it was in a whisper. You did this, you said, your voice trembling as though the words themselves were dangerous. You've trapped me here. I did tonight. I couldn't. I simply took your face in my hands and kissed you. The night you tried to escape was the night everything I had built began to crumble. It was a moonless night, the kind of darkness that swallows the world whole. The palace was quiet, too quiet. I had been restless for hours, pacing the corridors like a predator sensing a storm on the horizon. Something gnawed at me, a sharp, unshakable instinct that refused to let me rest. I went to our chambers and found the bed empty. At first, my mind rejected what my eyes saw. I thought perhaps you had gone to soothe our child, or to sit by the window as you sometimes did when sleep eluded you. But when I searched the nursery, there was nothing but silence. The crib was empty. The blankets were gone. And then I saw it. The wardrobe stood open, its contents rifled through. Several of your gowns were missing, along with the small wooden toy our child loved most. A cold, lethal calm descended over me. You had not simply left the room. You were running. From me. From us. I remember the way my hand shook as I gripped the door frame, my breath coming slow and heavy, as though the air itself had turned to stone in my lungs. My heart felt like it was tearing itself apart, but my mind was sharper than it had ever been. I set no guards to chase you. I didn't shout or rage. Now those things are for men who panic. I'm not a man, I'm a king. And kings hunt differently. I followed the trail myself, silent and deliberate. You had been clever, I'll grant you that. You left through the servants' passage, avoiding the main corridors, where my men patrolled. You moved quickly, wrapping the child in thick blankets to muffle his cries, choosing paths where your footsteps would be swallowed by the rain. But you were not trained for this. You were not trained for me. I tracked you through the palace gardens, past the outer gates, into the forest where the shadows grew thick and cruel. The rain had turned the earth to mud, and I could see the small, desperate prints of your shoes sinking into the ground. I chastised with every step I took, with every confirmation that you were truly leaving me. You must have believed you were close to freedom. That belief almost broke me. When I finally saw you, you were standing by the edge of the old bridge, your figure lit faintly by a single lantern. You were clutching our child so tightly that he whimpered in protest, his small voice nearly lost to the storm. Don't move, I said, my voice carrying through the night like a blade cutting through silk. You froze. Slowly, you turned to face me, and in that moment, I saw the truth in your eyes. It wasn't just fear, it was heartbreak. Please, you whispered, your voice trembling. Don't come closer. I stepped forward anyway, my boots sinking into the mud, my cloak dragging behind me like the shadow of a monster. You were going to leave me, I said, my tone nearly calm. You were going to take our child, and disappear into the night as if I were nothing. Tears streamed down your face, mingling with the rain. I had to. You don't see what you've become. You think you're protecting me, but you're suffocating me. I can't breathe inside these walls, inside this life you've built. I can't. You can't leave me, I interrupted, my voice breaking for the first time. Don't you understand? Without you there is no me. I have sacrificed everything, me people, my crown, my soul for you. And in the process, you cried, clutching our child even tighter, you've destroyed me. The words struck like arrows. For a moment, the storm seemed to still, as if the world itself was holding its breath. I took another step closer, my boots now only a few feet from yours. Come back with me, I begged, my voice raw. We can fix this, we can start over. You shook your head, sobbing. You don't understand. There's no fixing this. Every choice was made without me. Every path was chosen by you. I don't even know who I am anymore. My chest felt as though it were collapsing inward. I had done this. I had taken every choice from you until you were nothing but a bird in a cage, desperate enough to break her own wings to escape. But still, I could not let you go. Lightning split the sky, and in that moment of blinding light, I saw the cliff edge beyond the bridge, the roaring river below. A single wrong step, and you and our child would be lost to me forever. No, I said, my voice trembling now, a plea, a command, a prayer. Down to this. Don't run from me. I swear I will change. I will give you the freedom you crave. Just don't leave me tonight. For a heartbeat, you hesitated. I saw the flicker of love, of doubt, of hope warring within you. And then you whispered, so softly I almost did hear it. I don't trust you anymore. The world stopped. Those words cut deeper than any blade ever could. I staggered, my breath catching, my vision swimming. I will make you trust me again, I swore, each word carved from the very